My name is Aaron Santis. I am the program manager here at Senior Planet. So welcome to Senior Planet. For those of you that are not familiar what Senior Planet is, this space is Oates' flagship program. Older Adults Technology Services. We teach technology through different impact areas, 5 in particular. Financial security, health and wellness, creative expression, which what we're highlighting tonight, civic engagement, and social engagement. So Oates Older Adults Technology Services not only has this center here in Chelsea, New York, but we also have a center in Plattsburgh, New York, which is upstate, just outside of the Canadian border, about 40 minute drive. We also have moved into other locations, soon to be Senior Planet in Denver, Colorado. Oates is teaching their classes out there already. We're also in Palo Alto, California now. Yes, and we are in San Antonio, Texas as well. So we're expanding a lot. Tonight we really want to focus on the creative expression through the art and the partnership that we've developed with MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. So Oates and MoMA have had this partnership for a few years now, and from this partnership, an amazing workshop series has been developed. And you could see art that's behind me right now, and this is just one of the many pieces that has been developed from this partnership. It really pushed people to really expand with their creativity, and using technology as a tool to do so. Not only are you being creative with the photography and art, but now you're using an iPad in this workshop series to really drive that creativity in a different way that maybe members here have not been exposed to before in the past. So all of the art that was created in this workshop series was utilizing an iPad and apps that abstract the art. I'm not going to go in grave detail about all of the apps because I have Kirsten Broussard here from MoMA that is going to go more in detail about what was created and why she developed the curriculum for this workshop series. But I really do want to honor all the artists that made such amazing art. And for those of you that are not here tonight and are watching online our YouTube channel, please come by our center here in Chelsea on 25th Street to view these masterpieces because they are truly inspirational. A lot of them were inspired by art that is currently at MoMA. I know MoMA's going to be closing down their gallery shortly, but they will be reopening in a few months' time. I can go on and on talking about this class, talking about Senior Planet, and a lot of the things that have been developed from that course, but I want to turn over the mic to 2 people that are going to talk here that collaborated and taught the class together. So we have Kirsten Broussard and Roberto Elmorado. I'm sorry I butchered your name. Roberto is a trainer here for Oates. And together with an Oates trainer and Kirsten coming from MoMA, they've collaborated and taught the class together with a creative background, which they're both very creative. And then also having a technical background with using the iPads.
So yes, I am not so good at ad-libbing, so I wrote up a little something to make sure I got everything. So I'm going to just briefly read this, but yeah. So this year, our partnership explored the never-ending and always fascinating conversation between art and technology with a focus on abstract photography. We visited an exhibition at MoMA called New Order, Art and Technology in the 21st Century. And then we began every new project by looking at artists playing with and pushing definitions of photography. Participants made beautiful through the lens images of their surroundings. We made photographs here in this very room at Senior Planet and as well as actually in the neighborhood. We went outside, we walked the streets to the park and snapped away as we went. These images focused on some of the unique qualities of photographing with a smartphone or a tablet. And we zeroed in on things like shadow and texture and reflection and juxtaposition to create these layered, complex images, which became the basis of further artistic investigation using 2 apps this year. We used Fragment, which we've used in past years, and we used an app called Sketches Pro. So both of these apps mimic sort of like analog or maybe more traditional mediums and processes, such as painting and printmaking and drawing and collage. Throughout our time together, a lot happened, and you can see that reflected on the wall. But one thing I think really magical that happened is that everyone sort of transformed sort of the quotidian, right? The everyday, the mundane in some cases, like this gray carpet, not to offend the carpet, but into kind of the surreal and the magical. So everything around us was sort of fodder for our creativity. And so we were really, everyone, and I applaud you for that, was really taking time to look carefully at everything around them and maybe in new ways. None of this would have been possible without the camaraderie of, everyone who participated, without, your spirit, all of you, and those of you listening, of adventure and creativity. There was a lot of really amazing energy brought to the room every session. But I have to especially thank Roberto. Yes, I mean, yeah. Who was our tech guru and instructor throughout, and who, like he's doing now, smiles all the time and has endless patience. So could not have done it without you. And also a giant thank you to Aaron. Oh my gosh, yeah, all of this, incredible, this event, the framing, the curation, the hanging, yes, so thank you to Aaron for all of your support and energy and positivity, and as well as the staff here at Senior Planet who behind the scenes created these amazing crib sheets that we used to help us navigate these kind of complex apps. So it was absolutely, in the truest sense of the word, a collaboration. And to all of you, again, who made this beautiful work on the walls here, congratulations and a huge round of applause, to all of you here and wherever you are. And I'm sorry, I have to say a teeny bit more, if I'm allowed. I went on Senior Planet's blog, which I love, and I think, Daryl, maybe this was you, who said something like, you don't have to be anything to participate in this course. And I really like that, because to me it gets to the heart of why maybe we're all here, or certainly why I love this course. Because, hopefully over our, however many weeks, 12 weeks or something together, we thought, we felt, we played, we connected, we grew, and hopefully in some way you all were able to give voice to yourselves in some way, or maybe in multiple ways. And more than anything, I think that's what matters. That's why I'm here doing this. And so yes, it's what's on the walls, but it's really also the journey, the process, the coming together, the creativity, the play. And if you were expanded, then that's the best gift ever. So thank you for all of that to everyone. Yeah. And hi to my husband who's watching.
Okay. All right. How is everybody doing? Great, great. So my name is Roberto Enamorado. Thank you so much for your time and your attention, your effort in coming over here. Such a beautiful day. Here we go. Hold on. Where is this camera so I can focus on it? This is good? Okay, good. Yeah, I love to move around when I speak. I will say up front, I was initially very intimidated by the class. When I heard I was going to do this program and assist in teaching this, I am adverse to Apple products, although Apple was my first computer, but generally I try to stay away from that stuff. I'm more of an Android Windows person. And so when I got the news that I was going to help teach this, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But at the same time, excited to learn something new. And so I took my iPad with me to Spain to practice while I was on vacation. So that being said, in the process of doing that, knowing that I was going to assist in the program and explore something creative, here was an awesome opportunity. I was a little nervous about it as well. And so now that I'm here, working with you and collaborating with the artist, going through that journey on my own and in learning so much from the students, it just helped me become more comfortable. I think sometimes I tend to overthink things. And in working with, I don't like to say my students, I would say collaborators in this project. I saw a lot of the same things that I went through. It's just like, oh, I'm not sure if I can use this program. I don't know how to do this. I'm afraid to touch this. And it's just almost like this fear. And so I know what that feels like, going through the same process you did. And so I would say one of the most important things, although I was more of a technical support person, is trying to help build confidence in getting people comfortable playing around with the platforms. Just get comfortable playing around with the technology and exploring your creativity, not just internally, but externally, manifesting that and actuating that experience for others to appreciate as well. So it was totally cool for me. I hope it was really cool for my students as well. And just seeing the work here, I was actually waiting, although I was the person who emailed these pieces to MoMA. Sometimes I get very myopic about my work, and so I didn't even look at the art. I was just told by the students, this one, and I was just working almost robotically. Click, work, do I have to do, and send it out. And so I was waiting for this event to really see and just enjoy and appreciate the work that you put into this. And so it's really beautiful work. And it's my first time teaching a creative program here with Senior Planet. And I think also, that's really important conductor for the program, Kirsten's enthusiasm. I have mentioned this in one-on-one conversations to other people as well. And so having somebody who's enthusiastic and appreciative of the creative process really just helps it just makes it so much more comfortable for other people to explore their creative ideas, their creative energy. I've worked with other art teachers when I was going to school, and honestly, it was just too uptight for me. And so I enjoyed more just learning drawing on my own and just spending time outside in a park and just practicing on my own accord. And so I'm grateful for Kirsten, and I think her energy also motivated me to continue working and be as patient as she says that I was. So thank you so much for that experience. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you to the students for inspiring me as well. Seeing this work, it's not only beautiful, but it's also inspiring. And to see the teamwork, this is essentially, collaboration, right? Senior Planet, MoMA, Aaron's work, Kim. There's so many parties involved that I'm sure I'm very unaware of. But this is essentially what teamwork looks like. It's beautiful when it works out well, and I would say in this case it worked out magnificently. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you keep coming back to these events, right? Because without you being here, there is no community. And so please come back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roberto. So we actually have two artists from the workshop series that are going to speak here tonight. We're going to start off with Rita Russo. Please come on down. Rita's going to talk a little bit about her experience and a little about some of the pieces that she made in the workshop series.
So, this is it. This is the first time I'm ever on YouTube, so it's freaking me out. This is freaking me out more than the class, which was absolutely wonderful. Kirsten and Roberto, you could not have gotten two people better putting together a class, because they put in their gut. I mean, for all the time that we were together, they put in their gut at supplying information to us, coming up to us, answering our questions over and over and over and over. Kirsten is loaded with information in the arts and loves it. You can absolutely tell. And Roberto knows his computer equipment way too much for me, because I got a lot to learn yet. I know a lot about the arts, but I'm not as much about computer equipment. But anyway, so we worked on two different programs, Fragments and Sketches Pro. This was done on Sketches Pro. The difference between Fragments basically and Sketches Pro is Fragments, basically you're getting different designs. You're putting in your photograph, and you're fragmenting it into different shapes, and you're throwing in different colors. Sketches Pro, you're sketching besides. You're painting, you're drawing, etc. It's a little bit more involved than Fragments. So this was done with Sketches Pro. I found that in working with either, the more simple image that you take to work with, the better off you are, because you can then do that much more with it without it becoming too involved. So this was an image that I always liked of a firework that I took one time in Coney Island. It's one of my favorite firework images, which are not easy to get. A straight image of a firework is not easy to get. And so how I got this was, if you notice these little dots in here, that's not the firework. That's Sketches Pro. And then I painted these green and reds all around. And I said, but, that's still a firework, Rita. What are you going to do? I said, it's still an image of a firework. So then I got onto another tool in Sketches Pro, and I just pressed it, and boom, this came. And I said, well, gee, that looks nice. I said, that's interesting. It's getting off from being a firework, and yet you're seeing your firework, which you love so much. So I then threw it off. I said, see if you can get it on the other side, and got it on the other side. I said, stop now. So you have some geometry, and you have some, painterly effects, and you still have your firework image. And so that was my final that I did with Sketches Pro. This here, we were asked to bring in one straight image, and the day that Kirsten brought us out photographing, I was not feeling well, so I could not go. But I told her, I said, I have plenty of abstract images back home. I said, it shouldn't be a problem. This, believe it or not, is a photograph of a worn-out billboard. I was on Broadway in the low 20s. There was a party, street fair going on. And it was an overcast day. I almost didn't go because the weather was so creepy. I said, get yourself up and go. And I saw this. There were very few people. I was kind of disappointed. But I saw this worn-out billboard, and I said, oh, my God, what is that? I couldn't imagine what it might have been. But the colors drew me. The colors were just so jewel-like and just beautiful. So, in the digital world, you take 10, 15, 20 images of one subject before you finished. So I took a bunch of images of these colors, and this turned out to be one of my favorites. And it's interesting how they cropped it, and they have it, and when you see it up, the print, they have it turned upside down. I think it's even more effective the way they did it. It's beautifully presented. And so that was my straight image. Aside from what Kirsten had to say about the class and Roberto, Kirsten took us into a lot of new modern artists, photographers, many of whose names and work were not familiar to me. I'll just bring up a few that I found most interesting. One was Sandy Haber-Fifield. Yeah, she was great. She worked with nature, and she would get branches and tree leaves, and she would put them on vellum and take photographs of them, and then she would layer them. She would take like 3 or 4, layer them, and put them in different angles, and then shoot one final of it. And it'd be interesting because you have this fragmented image of these beautiful nature objects. And then I'm a photographer. It's like an advanced amateur. I said, stop there. I got a taste of the field. I said, get out of it. I said, stay out of it. It's a very cutthroat field. But one of the artists that Kirsten went into was Lee Freelander. Freelander. He was born in Aberdeen, Washington, 1935, and American born. And he did a lot of street shooting, but his later works, rather than straight images, he managed to incorporate different subjects: people, lampposts, buildings, billboards, in such a way that it wasn't a straight image. It was like one was juxtaposed against another, or they were fragmented, almost like a triptych. But in such a way that it wasn't confusing. You were able to grasp everything, get the gist of the environment the way you would with a straight image. But it was more in an abstract form, and he was very good. And Kirsten showed us some of his black and white images. They were interesting. And another artist who I was very, very drawn to, impressed by, Ada Molinet. She's wonderful. She's young, and she was born in Ethiopia. And she's very, very concerned about upping her people and her country. And she left her country, came to Washington, D.C., studied film. She got her degree. And she got her degree, she was about 26. At the age of 30, she went back home to Ethiopia and did basic street photography, documenting the country, poor and, unpleasant images, but good documentary photographs. But later what she did was she went to Canada. She lived in Canada, and she photographed women, these black women, and then she would paint them in these bold reds and yellows, greens, and some of the colors which are native to her country, to Ethiopia. And she would put like dots on their faces, which were actual paintings of Africans that Africans would do. They would paint their bodies and with these dots and things. And they were really highly elevated in abstract form. The whole thing about her is she really wants to elevate her people and her country. She started a fair that began, I think, in 2010 in Ethiopia. It's held annually. And she also has her own art company in Ethiopia. So she's really, she's very open-minded. I think she's very sincere. I don't think she's faking it. And I think she's going to get far because she's still young. And that's it. It was a great class. Kirsten and Roberta, you couldn't have done better because I killed you all. I killed both of you.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Rita. We have one more member. Here you go, Rita. And artist, Luis Valentin, please come up. He's going to talk a little bit about his experience and two of his pieces as well.
I'm going to put my thing over here. Okay. Hi, I'm Luis Antonio Valentin, a native New Yorker. And I didn't think I was a senior, number one, until I walked by here and I was coached in by seeing all the technology. I am a dinosaur, and I'm just trying to learn the new technology. Kirsten and Roberto, just, you guys welcomed us really, and you had patience, and you were lovely. And that was really important. And that was really important. You were lovely and kind and patient, because I knew nothing about, I bought a new iPad and I just really didn't know how to utilize it. So by walking by this block, I just bumped into this, I would call it a cool adult center as opposed to senior center, as far as I'm concerned. So the class taught me a lot. The members in the class were wonderful, by the way. It was really a nice group of people from all walks of life, and I learned a little bit from everyone, which was really nice. Different, interest. This particular piece here is a photograph of the carpet, and it's the sketches, and I sketched over the carpet. I'm kind of an illustrator, so I just, she's my bad girl. I love her, so I really enjoyed it. What else? I just wrote a couple of things. Okay, that's enough of that one. Then this is, it's important for me to, for this month, it's Pride Month. I'm a gay man. It wasn't always easy, so it's been a struggle, and I kind of want, just, sometimes I feel like that all over the place, bubbles everywhere. And I just kind of wanted to just make sure that it's part of my life and my history. I don't want to hide. So, and a little story. You always hear awful stories about nuns. The nuns that I grew up with were wonderful. They taught me how to be myself, and they saw that I was artistic. They got me to an artistic school as a young boy, and it was, and being here kind of reminded me, I kind of went full circle, kind of brought me back to that. Roberto had a lot of patience because I had no clue on what buttons to press on my iPad or my iPhone. Like I said, I'm a dinosaur just trying to get into the 21st century. So Pride Month is very important to me. I remember as a little kid sitting on the TV during the Stonewall riots with my mom, and they were just saying, "Oh, those awful, homosexuals, look at them, fighting against the police." And I was like, "Oh shit, here I am." And I'm like a boy named Sue. You live, you learn, and you keep on going. What else? Oh, the museum trip. That was so lovely. Christian really explained art to us like we really needed to hear. And it was beautiful. She had patience, and she really explained everything. So you just were there with her and the art. And we managed to roam around the museum afterwards, exploring just stuff that interested us. So that was very nice. Other than that, this place is great. Aaron, you're okay. So, and I'm really, and I'd like to come back here and I now learn a little more about technology because I so desperately need to do. Because I guess eventually I'm going to retire. I don't want to. Overall, the experience was great, and like I said, I really met some great. There was a guy, Greg. I don't see him here tonight. Dynamite. Yeah, Greg, wherever you are. He was a real Andy Warhol guy, and we really got to talk about a lot of like stuff. And and I think I'm almost over. I timed myself. Anyway, again, where is Roberto? Oh, there he is. Lovely, really, and Kirsten both. I think that's it. Thank you very much for giving me this experience. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you, Luis. And thank you to all of our artists that made this extraordinary works of art that are here displaying at Senior Planet. Our speeches are over for the evening, but we still have wine and cheese. So mingle, meet some of the artists, look at the art, enjoy your evening, and welcome.